Hey everyone, in this video I'll be showing you where to get all the new legendaries and pearlescent weapons in Borderlands 4's new DLC, the Bounty Pack 2, which adds in 14 new legendaries and 3 new pearlescent weapons to the game, with 2 of the pearlescents being available for all players, one of them being exclusive to the purchasers of the Bounty Pack. And I gotta say, the 2 free ones are actually the 2 better ones. So I guess to dive right in, I've gotten multiple different rolls of these, so I can talk a bit about the different parts that each of these come with. These are the 2 free pearlescent weapons. We have the Conflux Sniper Rifle, which does additional damage per status effect that you currently have on the target. I can see this actually being pretty effective on certain setups. And something interesting with all pearlescents is they have overrides. This one even having a kinetic damage override, which will change it depending on the enemy's health type. And we also get the Egan Burst here, which we'll get into a little bit later in the video. Now the paid pearlescent weapon is the hand cannon here. Now this one is kind of funky, coming with a variety of different rolls of Cov and the dataless licensed parts. We of course got our 4 paid vault card versions of like the Tankbuster, which is going to be interesting against bosses that have a lot of enemies nearby, because it's going to heal enemies and deal the boss even more damage. We also have things like the Mercredi here, the Arc Tan, which is a very interesting shotgun, and a grenade. Now there's no heavy ordinances, so I feel bad for Amon enjoyers. But we also have weapons like the Hairtrigger, which will explode when we release the trigger. Laser Discer, which comes with a bunch of different rolls. One of my favorites, the new Shalashaka with the Awful Lot. It's a reference to Revolver Ocelot. The fans of Metal Gear Solid will enjoy this one. You can see it comes with a ton of different rolls as well. We also have weapons like the Tuchni Bubbles, the Workers Mercurious, and the Broken Wings. And we also got the Fleabag Assault Rifle, the Doeshot Shotgun is a personal favorite of mine, and the Roulette, which will be interesting when cash release later next month, because this one will give you random buffs on level up or whenever you reload the gun. You can also get Ripper parts on here, which shreds. But first I'll show you where to get the Conflux and the Egan Burst. Now this will also include things like the Revolver Ocelot, but there's 3 locations in the overworld we want to come to. The first one, and it's funny, is they actually don't show up until you actually show up in the area. So we're going to come to the Fade Fields here, and it's just roughly around the Horse's Oversight here, so just right there. And once you approach this area here, you're going to see the Ordnite up appear. This will only appear when you're in the area, and it's going to spawn this in. Now, I will admit this is a little bit challenging, so you can check out my builds on how to get through this the quickest, and I'll have some future builds posted with these weapons as I learn to them a little bit more. But basically, you're just going to take out the enemies, they're going to drop stuff, and you're just going to throw it into this here, and you have to do this 3, 5, and then 7 times. And the enemies will actually drop their loot as well. So as you're killing them, you may actually get some legendary and pearlescent drops that happen just as you go through this event. And in addition to this, you can also get the Shalashka here with these 2 weapons. Now, I will admit that this area is a little bit challenging. Like, I don't think you get quite enough time to be able to complete this really easily, so don't feel bad if you have to drop your difficulties down or use a very overpowered build with things like the Mantra Shotgun. But yeah, you're just going to clear this out and you're going to get the drops from here. The next location is in Terminus Range, and it's just going to be right in this little cove here near the Heritage Opus safe house. And then boom, you'll see it right as soon as you approach this area here, which is again, just right in this section. They'll only appear when you're nearby. And the final location is in Carcadia Burns, and you're actually gonna come over near these purple crystals to this makeshift chalet and make your way down. And then you'll approach this here, and I like the arena here. There's a good amount of cover that you can make your way over to. From the 3 places that I farmed, I didn't find any difference in the overall loot, but I just ended up liking this area just because, again, you can use a lot of the different cover here to just keep yourself alive. But yeah, this is where you're gonna find those 3 weapons. And the hand cannon, this is the one if you got the paid DLC. Now, there's a lot of rolls. You can get a Jacob's part on it, you can TDR, COV, you can get dataless, and even Ripper parts on it. But I feel like this is a weapon that is maybe good on certain builds. It just doesn't stack up compared to some of the others that we got. And I really like this one though with the Ripper and Jacobs on it. And that's what this looks like here. So you're just going to basically hold down the attack there. It does have those ricocheting bullets that we can blast away with here. And yeah, it's decently strong, but I do feel like this weapon does struggle, and this is actually the area that we're going to get it from. So there is a little Ordnite site here that you can do if you're in this area, and this is where you're going to be able to get this. And you can see here the damage from it, not super amazing, but I feel like maybe on certain builds it could be somewhat useful. This is on a Rafa infinite ammo build, and even then it just feels like the damage from this isn't super fantastic. But to get this, you're just going to come over to this section here, and you can actually go into the menu, go into your replay missions on the left left-hand side here, and the Cursed Mine will let you go ahead and do this over and over again. Next, we'll be getting some of my favorites. They got the Mercurious here, which can come with the Torg licensed sticky magazine, increasing damage by 8% per bullet. We know how powerful stickies are from the bod and chaos and weapons like that. We also get the Doeshot Bubbles here. The Bubbles weapon, I love. It shoots bubbles, but it also can come with the Maliwan switcher and Jacob's licensed accessory. Alongside being a flat-off weapon means we can use a lot of different enhancements. Now, this one, we're actually going to go straight up through here in the map, and then you're going to come into this room right here where Chisabella will be. There's a secret waterfall that you'll have to go through right at this section here. And then boom, you'll come into the Chisabella arena here where we can fight against Chisabella here. So here's the SMG, the Mercurious, which you can see it's got the cryo stickies on it, which are really cool looking. So this will be one that's really good with any sources of infinite ammo where you don't have to reload, because then you can just pepper them full, and that damage is just going to get crazy, kind of similar to how the bod works. I don't see this being as good as the bod, but it's another option out there if you want to do some Torque sticky madness. And here's the Bubbles, which I really enjoyed. The assault rifle shooting out these bubbles is really awesome, and since it's got the ability to chain around, you can do some pretty crazy damage with it. But yeah, this boss is pretty resistant to it, the Dark Beast being one of the best weapons, or the Mantra. I got videos on how to take on the bosses. Now, next up we'll be going for the Doeshot, which I think is one of my favorites that was added with this DLC, and you can get Ripper parts, which is absolutely absurd. We also have the Roulette, which also could be one of the best weapons in this DLC. It comes with, you can get it with Ripper parts, Cov, it's an order weapon, and this will give you a random buff on reload, where the Doeshot will actually bounce off of walls similar to like TK's Wave, and one shot will end up emptying your entire magazine, which can be really silly with like a Rafa setup, because yeah, you can just continually keep spamming the 5-round burst here and does some pretty good damage. Now, I also like the Roulette pistol here because it comes with a large magazine here, and you can see it shoots really quickly, and those random buffs on reload are nice because they can actually make your character kind of powerful. And what's crazy with the Roulette is every time that you're reloading, you're getting a buff of like 100% to like your fire rate, your damage. You can get this thing doing insane amounts of damage. Once you get those reload buffs off, you can then do things like infinite ammo, which becomes absurdly powerful. And you can see we're just continually keep firing quicker and quicker and quicker. So yeah, this becomes really silly once you throw in like a Rafa here with the infinite ammo, and you can see that we're just blasting through it. Seriously, this thing is actually kind of crazy. And to get the Roulette and the Doeshot, we actually have to come all the way over here. So you're going to go into that main room. You go through this. You have to drop down to a section here, and there's a couple paths you can take. And you're going to come over to this section, and there's going to be a little door here that you can make your way through. You'll then ride this elevator up once you go through the little pathway there, and the button is right there in case you didn't know. And a funny little cheese with the Roulette is you can actually keep firing it off, get all your buffs up, and then use a weapon thing to replenish all your ammunition. And then here's the bosses here, Vortex. Now this is where you're gonna get that Doeshot and the Roulette from, and you can see he does have the crystals, so this weapon is not the absolute best against it. We want explosives, but this thing does fire fast once you got it all warmed up here, especially when using the Bullet Buddy Deluxe from Rafa there. And you can see anything that stands in our way just gets deleted, but he's got the crystals. Now next up we have the Hairtrigger shotgun here, which was actually kind of a pain to use, and the Laser Discer. Now this one will do additional damage to airborne targets, which is kind of nice, and it also will, it's Tedior, so you got fast reloads. It can also come with Ripper parts, Maliwan, switchers, and even Jacob's licensed accessories. And here's what the Laser Discer looks like. It has a kind of slow fire rate here, can come with a bunch of different rolls for it as well. And here is the Hairtrigger, which you shoot it, and then when you let go of your fire button, it does an explosion. So if you're not paying attention and do a single tap, you're going to take yourself out. So just something to keep in mind while using it. And to farm this, we're actually going to start again at the Demon Hold. You're going to come through to the same area here, but instead of going through the door that we went through last time, we're actually going to continue on along underneath here. And there's a secret little way that we can go over to this section here to find them. And when you get to this section, you will have to blow up and go through there. And you will have to drop down to this big area here, and then you should land on this section here with a gate. You then have to make your way over to this little platform here, and you're going to jump across and climb up here. And once you've climbed up to the top, you're going to run over to the right-hand side over here, and then we can make our way across. There's also a little grapple spot there, but you're just going to hover over. Now we can go to the right for another section, but we're actually going to go to the left this time. And you'll come to a point around here where there's actually a button that you do have to press, and there's a gate right there, but you're actually going to come and pull this vent open and climb up into it. And this is like the secret way. And boom, it'll take you right to the boss arena here where you can go and fight the Sturm and Drang. And this is a dual boss, and these will be carrying what we're looking for. And we even got ourselves a Hairtrigger here, which comes with Tedior, and this one, Hairtrigger, Again, the Hairtrigger being a really difficult one to use because you do have to manually be pressing it like that. I don't see this being a super powerful weapon, but the laser disc here is pretty fun. You can come with a variety of different roles here. I just think it's a really nice assault rifle. And then you can just open that door back up. And the final boss of the DLC will give us the Broken Wings, which I think is actually a really interesting weapon, despite not being super powerful, and the Fleabag, which can be kind of interesting because it does come with Jacob's Lace and accessory. Not only this, but it also gives us the Hopscotch shield, which spawns a singularity when an armor segment breaks, which will pull all enemies in. It's kind of nice, especially if you're going through earlier sections of the game. Not always the most powerful in the late game, but still nice. When damaged, a 20% chance to spawn a power booster, it gives a 10% gun damage. You can get a variety of different rolls with this, but it's mainly that singularity whenever you break your armor. It does come with a pretty high capacity too. And here's the Fleabag weapon. So yeah, it's a single shot, but you can shoot it pretty quickly as fast as you're able to pull the trigger there. And it comes with those stickies, which is pretty nice. Again, stickies are pretty powerful. And then there's the Broken Wings. I love the wave, kind of like TK's wave as a SMG. And you can have that be torque stickies. And to get this weapon, you're actually gonna come to that same section where we forked off last time, where we went over here to fight the Sturm and Drang. And we're actually gonna come over to this section, and there's gonna be this little rainbow thing I showed you earlier. We're actually gonna run straight through here, and you're gonna proceed this way. After a few gates, this will take you to this big wide open arena here where you can see we're going to be fighting a boss. And I'll quickly mention that the Dark Beast and the Mantra are the best weapons for all the bosses in this DLC, especially when you get a Jacob's Ripper version of the Mantra and a Daedalus Shotgun version of the Dark Beast. And you can see the Dark Beast here. The crystals will explode from this weapon, which is what makes it so good. But I'm a big fan of the Mantra here because you can see this once we get this firing off, it just destroys the crystals really quickly. So you do have to have the Bullet Buddy Deluxe from Rafa equipped there and active. I lost it. And you can see it here just absolutely decimating this boss. So Bullet Buddy Deluxe and Rafa is really good because you can just literally just keep chipping away at that. And it will summon in some more spawns here, which you just have to deal with. But I do have a video on how to clear this in 1 minute and 30 seconds, so you check out my channel for that. And after beating it, you're going to get a variety of different loot here. We got ourselves a Hopscotch shield that time, but you can also get the pistol, the pearlescent pistol to drop from this boss as well. So if you weren't able to find it in the previous area, you can get it here. And for the vault cards, these ones you do have to, grind it out and get some of these. I noticed that some of them are a little bit bugged, like this kill 30 enemies with assault rifles was not counting for me whatsoever. But whenever you do also have to activate this, so you may have to go in here and press Y. I love the theming of this one, but the weapons here, I'll show them here to you. We got the Arc-Tan shotgun, which is pretty interesting. Kaboom! We also got the Mercredi here, which I got a couple different rolls here. You can get one that's got the Atlas licensed underbarrel there. But what's funny is whenever you reload, you're going to fire this gun differently. Sometimes it shoots quickly, sometimes it shoots slowly. It's a bit of a random one. And we also have the Tankbuster. This could potentially be interesting depending on the boss that we're going against. This boss has multiple enemies, but this heals those enemies, and then it's going to deal additional damage based on that. I can see this being really good with like a Bloodshot Vex setup. She's really best with the sniper rifles. And also for ordinances, we got the Clonal Countermeasure here, which launches flares to distract nearby enemies, and it spawns 6 Merv grenades on exploding, which ends up looking like this. So you throw it out, it's got those flares. The enemies end up, I find, being a little bit distracted by it, and then it has those big explosions there. So you can see the Merv exploding in a huge radius there. It's an interesting one. Here's the Tankbuster, so you can get it with or without a scope. It shoots a little slow there, but again, it's got a crazy amount of damage because it can then take the damage based on the amount of enemies that are nearby. This will be good, I feel like, in certain bosses, but just not every single encounter. Here's our shotgun. So I love it because they bounce around. They're a little bit like the Demo Man from Team Fortress 2 in using it, and it does consume a lot of ammo per shot, but it's a pretty fun weapon. So you can see here we're trying to use on this little Pango pup here. It can be a little bit challenging at times, you see, because yeah, you're likely to explode yourself. It also has a huge explosion radius. These are the largest pellets now with a 300 meter range. They're a lot larger, so you're likely to take yourself out while using this. But yeah, you want those direct hits. I'm trying to bounce them. Used to playing Squirrel Girl in Marvel Rivals, but yeah, you can see there, not the easiest weapon to use. We then also have our assault rifle here, which is just a good old-fashioned assault rifle. It does decent damage. It's an Ultimate Volt Hunter 6, but you see there, it's shooting faster now because every time you reload, it's going to have a different fire rate. Here it's now shooting at a burst rate. It was shooting super fast fully auto there earlier, so you got a lot of different ways that this can play out, and it also can come with the underbarrel there. And here is the sniper rifle. Again, I love this because if there's multiple enemies around, it's going to, you can see it heals the enemies and hurts the target for more damage. So this will be an interesting one. I'm going to be experimenting with different builds, so you can stay tuned for all that, but that is how you get all the new weapons in included in the Borderlands Bounty Pack 2 DLC. There's a lot of them, ton of different roles. I'm gonna be grinding this out tonight and playing some Resident Evil Requiem, so let me know which of these is your favorite, or if you got some with particular roles that you really like, please let me know in the comments below. I hope you guys all have an amazing day, and I'll catch you all in the next video.